Kim Iverson defends RFK's friendship with Biden in this tweet. I wouldn't say she gets a backlash, but there's some friendly pushback because this is from people she knows and is friends with who have pushback on her, like Comrade Misty, who will be on the Nick at Night show tonight, and like Fiorella. I think Franco is in here too somewhere. Maybe even Garland Nixon. Anyway, it says some are getting on RFK Jr.'s case for being friends with Biden. I take no issue with this friendship. Friendship should cross ideological divides and should be based on things other than politics. I lost many friends during COVID because they didn't agree with me, but I didn't once cut a friendship off because I didn't agree with them. I will admit I did cut friendships off after Trump won in 2006, and I'm ashamed of that. I've worked to repair these friendships, and I am grateful for the forgiveness some have given me. We can't live in such a hostile, hateful world. We can hold disdain for ideas, actions, and decisions without resorting to hate. It's the old mantra of, quote, I can love you, but I don't have to love your choices. We should engage in healthy debate of ideas while retaining our humanity. And she's referring to this tweet here where RFK Jr. kind of shouts out his friendship with Joe Biden. Now, we'll go to a couple of people who kind of gave her their take on this and how and I kind of agree, like your everyday friendship with like an everyday person to me doesn't have the same criteria as your friendship with a person who can drop a nuclear bomb. That's not the same thing. A person who could drop nukes, a person who could drop drones, a person who can kill millions of people and have done that. Like, it's not, to me, that's not the same. That's not the same thing. But anyway, and that's the point that's essentially going to be made here. I don't need to read Robert F. You saw it there. I don't need to read it because that's not the point here. But let's go. Here's Fiorella. And again, they're friends. And here is her response to that. There's a difference between being friends with people you disagree with, as we have no problem doing, and this. He's essentially using the old Sanders-esque strategy of BS. My good friend Joe is just someone he disagrees with. Joe Biden is a war criminal. There's no need to whitewash his career as one for civility. It's also naive of him to pretend otherwise. The public has moved on from this type of strategy. Being genuine and real is what works. I also see this as an indication he's going to fold just like those have before him. In fact, I predict that if Joe is nominated, every Democratic opponent of this will endorse him. Kennedy may have been amazing on COVID, but I see far too many ignoring glaring issues because they're so desperate for an option other than the establishment. Newsflash, he's catering to it. And I'm assuming she means that establishment. That is an absolutely spot on critique. And here is Iverson. Biden, Putin, and Zelensky are war criminals. I believe Biden is guilty of other crimes beyond war also. And I believe she's talking about the Epstein stuff, maybe alluding to. But I've known lots of people guilty of many crimes. But to me, war crimes is not the same thing as shoplifting. It's not the same thing as a DUI. It simply is not. It simply is not. I believe Biden is guilty of other crimes beyond war also. But I've known lots of people guilty of many crimes. I've known people who have gone to prison. Not the same thing. Some for hideous crimes like murder. Still, murdering a person is not the same thing as starving millions of people. I believe all deserve love, kindness, and friendship, regardless of their crimes. I don't have. It's not the same thing. Restorative justice for regular people is not the same thing for war criminals. I believe all deserve love, kindness, and friendship, regardless of their crimes. I don't have to be the one to give it, but I also don't blame those who do. I don't have to be the one to give it, but I also don't blame those who do. Giving friendship to someone doesn't mean you agree with their decisions. And then she goes on. I think because the point was so beautifully made. I mean, it was outstanding. This is a great tweet by Fiorella. And then she goes on to say, we will have to wait and see if RFK Jr. and Marriott ends up caving and giving their support to Joe when the establishment ultimately tells them Biden is the guy. But I'm not going to play Minority Report by condemning them for something they haven't done yet. This is a little disingenuous to pretend or to equate knowing what these people are going to do, because that is the agreement to even run, is to, and Nick talks about they have to sign an agreement to endorse the person. This is why Tulsi Gabbard endorsed Joe Biden. So you don't have to be a psychic, is essentially what she's saying here. You don't have to be that to know what's happening. But we'll go to some other ones here. Comrade Misty says he's a war criminal and a. You see what it says there? Actually, let me blow it up. Yes, they'll do something just by saying the word. This is not just some difference of politics. Here is Reef saying you're friends with a war criminal, and you see what that is, way different than someone with disagreement with Kim. And that's the same point that I'm making, that I've made. Here's Frank analysis. Or Franco, being friends with a war criminal in cahoots with the rulers, oppressors of this world is not the same thing as an average person crossing ideological divide. And that's the same point that I made. And the same point is a great point.